So today I've got the latest version of my FIFA 23 custom sliders, and I have to say that these are without a doubt the best sliders that I have done to date. So without further ado, roll the intro and let's get into it. So welcome in everybody, thank you for joining me for version 3 of our custom gameplay sliders. We're going to go through all of the settings, not only the user and CPU sliders, but also going to go through the kind of map settings, the rules, and also some important controller settings as well. Let's not beat around the bush, let's get stuck into it and see what's what. We start off with the most important notice of all. I'm starting the video off with this one like I did in version 2.0 because some people didn't really take it on board. If you are finding these sliders too easy, and we are going to go through while we do it on world class a little bit later on, then you must play on manual. This is really the most important feature. The thing about sliders is it's not about making the CPU play like gods, it's about making you as the player have to play more realistically. And ultimately you will notice the biggest difference when you play on assisted controls like all the pro FIFA players do. Ultimately it just is not very fun or good. The real challenge comes from having to play manual, passing, shooting, all that good stuff. But it's also important to say that don't kind of switch to full manual straight away. Ease into it if you are still playing on assisted. I'm currently on manual for most of the things now: ground pass, shot assistance, lob passing. We've got through balls is also on manual as well up here. But what you should do is just switch to semi on some of them. So for example, for ground pass, for shot assistance, maybe go for semi and ease your way into it. Crossing, I would always say only on a maximum of semi, never put on manual because it is a bit of a problem. The same with kind of lob passes and through passes, just gradually ease into it. And as you get more familiar with it, you'll end up full manual. That's still the journey that I'm on now. As you can see, we're not on full manual for everything, but the main important things such as ground pass, shooting, through passes, etc., they are all on manual. Should also say all the settings up here as well, I have switched it off. Competitive master switch, absolutely do not have this on under any circumstance. Agile dribbling, auto clearances, flare passes, auto shots, assisted headers, all of these are set to off. The only thing I do have on assisted is jockey. I do find it is just going to work better for you. Things like time finishing, we also have to off. Pass block assistance we have on. Next player switch indicator, personal preference, I don't like that on personally. We have auto switching on air balls and loose balls, and actually low move assistance. This is very good as well to stop it when you're switching a player and all of a sudden he switches direction away from the ball because obviously your analog stick is pointing in a different direction, so you can kind of deal with that as well. But all in all, you get the picture. If you are playing this and finding this too easy, switch to manual. We'll also talk about some of the settings that you need to switch if you are playing on manual, such as shot error and pass error. We will be tweaking that as well, so do bear with me. So let's get into the game settings first. Half length, really down to you. I think if you're kind of finding there's too many goals being scored in every game, then you want to lower the half length. If you find there's not enough goals, then try and raise the half length. I've personally found a decent sweet spot at 6-minute halves, so we can go with that. Difficulty level is on world class. We emphasised this in the previous two sliders videos, and I'm going to do it again. The reason why we play on world class is because the CPU, the opposition AI, play more realistically than what they do on legendary or ultimate. On legendary and ultimate, you'll find that they take the ball into the corner, they'll cut back inside, pass back along the face of goal to a free man in the box, and that's how they score. Whereas on world class, you'll actually find them crossing the ball in more often. They just play like a more realistic game, and it's more fun to play. So I've really approached this from the direction of, can we get the opposition AI to play more realistically, but also be challenging, be as challenging as possible. And that's what we're looking to do here. If you find it too easy playing on world class with these sliders, and you're also playing on manual controls, everything, and you're still winning every single game and you're finding it easy, then yes, do attempt to move it up to legendary, but only once you have filled all of those criterias. Please don't say, can I switch this to legendary, when you haven't actually tried it on manual. Please try it on manual controls first. Player-based difficulty is again a personal preference. I think you should have this on for the sake of kind of competitive nature for difficulty. You will notice when they are on the ball, the occasional star player that is signified by the CPU via the grey arrows in game, they will play better. They will kind of take you on more, look to kind of drive past you, look to make things happen. So I do think this does have value, and I do set it to on. The game speed we've got as default here. Yes, you would think maybe we should be slowing it down and have it on slow pace, but what you'll find is Generally, defenders kind of get stuck in jockey animations, and I'm not really being able to kind of tweak this. I know there are people like such as the OS community sliders, etc., and people have tried to address this. For me, I've not really found that sweet spot. You tend to find players don't do their marking duties. It really affects the defensive phase of the game, and so I've kept this on default and tried to slow it down via the sliders. We'll quickly go through the rules here. Injuries on, offsides on, bookings on. Very self-explanatory. Handball I've got on except penalties. This is just to try and get more set pieces in general. However, what you'll notice is FIFA and EA can't really distinguish between what is handball and what isn't. So if it just hits the arm of any player, they will automatically award the handball, which can be very frustrating if it's giving away penalties. But with free kicks, particularly in deeper and wide areas, not as pivotal. So it's just to try and get more set pieces in the game. The same with the referee strictness as well. I don't like it too strict because it does become very stop-starty, but strict does kind of allow you to have just more set pieces in general. So on to the bit that you have all been waiting for then, the sliders. We'll go through the user gameplay customization first. Sprint speed is on 10, acceleration on 46. We've spoken in every single sliders video I've done how I don't like messing with the sprint speed and acceleration so that they're different values. I've always had them the same. This is where these sliders have changed and they've really come into its own. I've always felt that if you change the value of the sprint speed and change the acceleration, they're different. You're actually giving advantages to players who are better in one regard. So for example, lots of centre backs have high sprint speed but low acceleration, and I think if you're lowering the sprint speed but keeping the acceleration high, what you're doing is taking away their advantage, so they're going to be even slower. However, what I didn't really realise and what I've kind of honed in on now is if you lower the sprint speed to such a degree where it is so low that players reaching their top sprint speed, it doesn't matter too much, that then, you know, if you have it different to the acceleration, it will work fine. And I have really noticed this, and you'll see this in the gameplay as well. And it just works really nicely. So we've got this on 10 and 46, and I think we're really coming towards the sweet spot of that area now. For the sake of difficulty, shot error on 64, pass error on 62. Bear in mind, if you're playing on 4 manual shooting, 4 manual passing, change these to 50. This is only for people who aren't using manual shooting and passing. If you are, then you want these on 50. If not, then you want this on 64 and 62. Shot speed is on 52, and then the pass speed we have at 36. This is the only one on this sliders list where I'm a little bit on the edge. If you feel like the passing is a little bit too slow, I will kind of suggest maybe raising this up to about 38 to 40. It's the only thing on this sliders list that I'm a little bit iffy about, so do kind of give me any feedback if you do have any on that. Injury frequency stays at 70 from the previous video and set of sliders, as does injury severity. The goalkeeper ability is now on 50. And we've decreased the positioning marking as well. For marking on the user, it is now 54. Positioning run frequency, that is on 14. Remember that as you as the user, you are being able to implement the tactics and the player instructions so you can get more players running in and around. So it's important that this is low because you should be able to kind of influence that so that you're getting enough runs and movement via the custom tactics. The line height has been raised, this time to 60. And then the big one, line length, as you can see, this is down to 30. This is an absolute game changer. It really is helping with the fact that the defensive midfielders and the central midfielders aren't helping the defensive line and tracking back as much. This has really condensed that, and so they are in a better position defensively. Been a huge game changer, and one of the reasons why I think these sliders are absolutely the best of all. The line width is on 50, and then fullback positioning has been decreased to 50 as well. Power bar is a personal preference. I've personally got this on 56, and then the first touch control error is up to 90. Again, just trying to generate a bit of difficulty and stopping you from kind of playing the most unrealistic passes and touches in certain situations. Next up for the CP user sliders then, we've got the sprint speed and acceleration, again the same, 10 and 46. Shot error this time is on 60, and the pass error is on 62. Shot speed is 52. Pass speed, again, you can change this if you feel like it's a little bit too slow. I'm a little bit iffy on that, as I said, so that's on 36. Injury frequency and severity, both of these still the same on 70 and 50. The goalkeeper ability on 56. I believe we had this on 60 last time. We've decreased this a little bit to kind of generate less unrealistic saves. And then the marking for the CPU is also on 54. The run frequency up a little bit this time to 20. Another thing I'm tinkering with a little bit, so maybe expect a version 3.5 if I'm not happy with this. I feel like maybe this could do with increasing a little bit to maybe 30. We had it all the way on 50, I believe, last time, because obviously the opposition's custom tactics don't get changed, so they're probably less likely to have more movement, and as a result you kind of find attacks stagnate a little bit more. But we're trying to do it just to make the game a little bit less end-to-endy. The line height for the CPU is on 60, as is the line length, the same as the user, that's on 30 as well. The width is on 50, and then the fullback positioning, as you can see here, that's on 45, again because obviously they can't alter the custom tactics and the player instructions of those fullbacks. First touch control error is there at 70. And so with that being said, we're just about ready to round it off there. If you've got any questions about the sliders, any feedback about the sliders, which is the most important thing, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll really appreciate it. Don't forget to check out my Patreon, the link to that is down below. Lots of fantastic perks and rewards like exclusive tactics videos, my FIFA 23 tactics package, behind the scenes videos, Discord server access and a whole lot more. And check out the channel for all sorts of other great content surrounding FIFA and football as well. With that being said, we're ready to round it off there. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and until the next one, I'll see you soon.